Ladies and gentlemen, good day and welcome to the SMS Pharmaceuticals Limited Q3 FY23 earnings conference call. This conference call may contain forward-looking statements about the company which are based on the beliefs, opinions and expectations of the company as on date of this call. These statements are not the guarantees of future performance and involve risks and uncertainties that are difficult to predict. As a reminder, all participant lines will be in the listen-only mode, and there will be an opportunity for you to ask questions after the presentation concludes. Should you need assistance during the conference, please signal an operator by pressing star and then 0 on your touchtone phone. Please note that this conference is being recorded. I now hand the conference over to Mr. Vamsi Krishna Potluri, Executive Director at SMS Pharmaceuticals Limited. Thank you, and over to you, sir.
Hello. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining the earnings conference call to discuss the financial performance for the quarter and 9 months ended December 31st, 2022. I hope everyone must have got an opportunity to go through our financial results and the investor presentation, which has been uploaded on the stock exchange as well as our company website. The economy finally felt some respite after a period of prolonged uncertainty owing to rising inflation and cost pressures, precarious geopolitical circumstances and supply chain disruptions. The situation is now easing out and is expected to further stabilize going forward. While the demand for ARV therapy has remained largely dampened in the last few months, the company is shielded from these disruptions as its exposure to the ARV segment is negligible. The ARV segment is experiencing some recoveries and better visibility in terms of demand. Order inflow for the ARV products will provide incremental revenues and operating leverage over and above the normalized revenue. The company continues to focus on strategic objectives, which include prioritizing R&D, having the best-in-class manufacturing process, and sustained emphasis on long-term value and growth. Coming to our company's highlights, we witnessed a healthy bounce back in profitability as profit after tax for the quarter stood at 5.3 crores, a substantial growth from our previous quarter. The EBITDA margins also expanded, improving 504 bips sequentially and stood at 13.9% for the third quarter of the year. This was aided by improved product mix driven by the success of new anti-diabetic line and an uptick in demand for companies other than non-ARV products. After a few muted quarters, the pricing pressures in ibuprofen have eased and it's witnessing strong revival paired with a better realization. Ibuprofen, which was recently launched at the Vizag facility, is in high demand and the business is exploring numerous growth opportunities for the product. In addition, ibuprofen's recent CB clearance has opened up chances in more current and regulated European market. This is expected to boost revenues even further. As a result of various gliptins patent expiry, there have been a surge in demand within the anti-diabetic market. The operations in companies' anti-diabetic therapy scaled up quickly and the contribution of companies' overall revenue from operations was close to 41%. The anti-diabetic medication was very successful in terms of scaling up and delivering close to 41% of the entire revenue from operations. Coming to API segment's highlights, a 9-month FY23 revenue from API segment stood at 146.2 crores and 368.7 crores respectively. Q3 and 9-month FY23 API segment contributed approximately 98.2% and 99% to the consolidated revenue respectively. Within the API segment, 15% of the revenues came from the domestic market, 85% from the export market for Q3 FY23. Within the therapeutic areas, anti-diabetic contributed to 41%, ARV segment contributed to 1%, anti-migraine contributed to 14%, anti-ulcer 5%, anti-epileptic 7%, ED contributed to close to 7%, and the rest contributed to around 16% of the total sales of Q3 FY23. Despite the temporary setback in growth due to soft demand in the ARV segment, the company recuperated quickly and completely replenished this fall in demand with other therapies without compromising its top line. This is a testimony to our operational resilience and adaptability. The outlook remains positive and the company is on track to achieve its COVID growth numbers, lastly, I would like to reiterate that we remain committed on substantial growth and bringing value to all our stakeholders. We can now begin the question and answer session. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, we will now begin the question and answer session. Anyone who wishes to ask a question may enter star and 1 on their touchtone telephone. If you wish to remove yourself from the question queue, you may press star and 2. Participants are requested to use handsets while asking a question. Anyone who may enter star and 1. Ladies and gentlemen, we will wait for a moment while the question queue assembles. The first question is from the line of Virat Shah from Shah Investments. Please go ahead.
Hi, sir. Good morning. Sir, so the anti-diabetic segment revenue share has increased significantly over the last few quarters. So any long-term targets for this segment?
So we have got a good launch in Europe because that's the only market where the patent has expired right now. So US patent, there's still time. 24 is the patent expiry in US. So Europe, we've got a good partnership going with our JV partner, and I think we have a good visibility on this segment going forward.
Okay. And in margin terms, we have managed to register EBITDA margin near to 13 to 14 this quarter. What is our target in steady state scenario? Any tentative timeline which we will reach our normalized EBITDA levels?
So generally, normal EBITDA levels will be around 18 to 20% approximately.
Yes, sir.
So that is target, yeah.
Any timeline when we can see that?
And maybe I think maybe it might take 1-2 quarters, but I think again, as we mentioned, right, the company is on the bounce back mode. I think our first quarter and our Q4 last year was not very good. I mean, the entire industry was a little on the slower side during that time. And now I think slowly it's bouncing back. And I think if you see our revenues also, it's growing steadily. So yeah, I think in the next couple of quarters, I think we could come back to that level.
Okay. And sir, I see that ARV segment has fallen drastically. How is the demand panning out for this product now?
So now so the demand has picked up right now again. So in the past, I think there have been delay in tender allocations, and there has been change in some strategy of tender allocation as well. Now tenders have come in a few months back, and now slowly the demand for this product these products are also picking up. So definitely in the next year 2024, the contribution will be increased. But obviously, I think one good this thing that we would like to tell here is that, though last year I think the contribution was almost around 30 to 40%, but even though without that contribution also, we were able to successfully replace the top line with respect to, our other therapeutic segments. Then definitely I think if antiviral will come back, definitely we would be there, and that will be additional revenue for the company.
Yeah, okay, sir. And sir, how much capex have we done so far this year for the quarter 3, and what would be the guidance for the next year?
So there is no major capex that has been done. I think it is the regular small, environmental and balancing equipment have been procured. I think which is to the tune of 5 crores to 8 crores range. It's nothing more than that. So I think that's already been done. So there is no future huge capex that's planned. We want to consolidate at this point of time before going for our expansion.
Okay. And sir, ARV segment revenue contribution, what could it be?
Going forward, again, depends, right? It is 1% in Q3. Going forward, it could come back to that 10% to 12%. But again, we are not very sure because this is based purely on tenders, right? It's very difficult to predict. Yeah. But we are expecting maybe next year, I think, could be around 12 to 15% contribution.
Okay, sir. Noted. Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. A reminder to our participants, if you wish to ask a question, you may enter star and 1. The next question is from the line of Aditi Sawant from ADM Advisors. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi. Thank you so much for the opportunity. I have 2 questions. Going forward, do we have any plans to increase our API revenue contribution from domestic market? And second is also on export front, what are our key geographies and what is the share of, say, our top 3 or top 5 geographies to the total exports revenue?
So with respect to your question, geographies.
Hello?
Hello. Yeah, so with respect to the domestic market, definitely I think now the sales will definitely improve because of owing to ibuprofen. So the domestic market is a very big market for ibuprofen. Definitely I think and more or less our company is mostly towards export oriented business, deemed exports. That we take into. So most of our customers are domestic based, but most of the products go into the US. So that is taken under export and deemed export business for us. But I think domestic share right now is at 18%. And I think definitely it's going to increase going forward because of ibuprofen, because domestic market is a big market for ibuprofen. So it's definitely going to increase. Probably it would be around 25% is our estimate for the next year, 25 to 30%. And with respect to geography wise, I think, just a second. Yeah, so geography wise, could you repeat your second question? What exactly did you require?
What is the share of top 3 or top 5 geographies to the total export revenue?
So the top 3 geographies are obviously US market, Europe market, and Japan market are the top 3 export destinations for us. And they contribute to almost, again, as I said, right, exports contribute to 82% of our revenue, and these 3 segments contribute to almost 65-70%. So these are 3 big major geographies for us.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. That was from my side. All the best for the upcoming quarters.
Thank you.
Thank you. Before we take our next question, we'd like to remind participants to ask a question. You may enter star and 1. Our next question is from the line of Dipti Kothari from Kothari Securities. Please go ahead.
Good morning, sir. Thank you for the opportunity. Sir, so my first question was that what is our installed capacity for sitagliptin and do any other gliptin?
Yeah, so our installed capacity for sitagliptin right now is close to around 35 tons every month.
Okay.
And we definitely produce other sitagliptins like vildagliptin and linagliptin pipeline. So commercially, sitagliptin we produce multiple salts, sitagliptin phosphate, sitagliptin HCl, and vildagliptin is also one more product. And linagliptin is in our pipeline right now.
Okay, sir. And so last quarter you mentioned that we have gotten the CEP approval for ibuprofen. However, the validation filing is in process.
Correct.
So what is the timeline on that? And by when can we start exporting to the European market?
So Europe market depends on customer to customer. So we already sent out sample quantities, the products under registration with different customers, different countries, because Europe is a big continent, right? So the different countries have different approval timelines. So it's hard to justify, but I think in the next 4 to 6 months you will be able to see a very good uptick in sales to Europe.
Okay. And our intermediaries were a relatively low share of revenues as compared to last year. So what are the primary reasons for this?
No, and could you repeat it? Is it intermediates or intermediaries? What did you ask?
Intermediates.
Intermediates.
Yes.
Yeah, I think last year was around 4%. Now it's around 1%. Last year there were some. You want to answer this?
Yeah, last year intermediates we have undertaken under contract manufacturing. The current year the contribution of contract manufacturing very less.
Okay. And sir, on the anti-diabetic therapy, over the last few quarters, the share of this therapy has risen dramatically. How did we achieve the scale?
So again, we've been telling over, last few conference calls also we've been telling, right? So I think one of our customers there's a patent expiring in the last 2 quarters. So post the patent expiry, obviously the sales have picked up.
Okay. And sir, is it possible to achieve that scale in some of our other top therapies like anti-migraine or anti-epileptic?
I'm sorry, could you repeat your question?
So is it possible to achieve such scale in some of our other top therapies like anti-migraine or anti-epileptic?
See, other products like anti-migraine, anti-epileptic, there are unfortunately no products that patents are yet to expire. So most of the products patents have already expired. So I think anti-migraine, we've been consistently doing good business over the last 4 or 5 years. I think our contribution of anti-migraine, because they're a niche segment, right? So it contributes lower on the top line, but they've been contributing from 10 to 15% consistently in the last 3 to 4 years. So we see the same growth trajectory, but it will be in that range of 14%, 15%, could go up to 15%. But there are not any major products where patent is expiring, where they would contribute significantly to our top line, because they're all niche products, niche volume APIs. So yeah, I think we expect the top line contribution to be in the similar range.
Okay, understood, sir. And sir, what are our R&D spends for 9 months, FY23?
Yeah, what is our R&D spend?
Yeah, 3%.
It's around 3%.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any participant who has a question may enter star and 1. We'll take our next question from the line of Mahesh Vyas from UTI Mutual Fund. Please go ahead.
Yeah, good morning, sir. Just now you said that ibuprofen will help you to increase your domestic share from 18 to around 25 to 30%. So would like to know on what ibuprofen capacity you have and what plans you have to expand it further, and a commentary on its pricing, volume growth, and what will be the share of that in export and domestic market. Yeah.
So ibuprofen right now, I think installed capacity is around 300 to 400 tons per month is the installed capacity at this point of time. But with a very minor investment, we could take it up to 700 tons per month. And we have, as mentioned, we have the largest batch size in the market on this product. Our batch size is around 10,000 kilos. So we have a very good cost position on this product, and definitely I think we are under registration under various customers domestically and for both US and Europe. So we definitely expect ibuprofen to be a very big contributor in next FY24. We expect ibuprofen to be a very big contributor with respect to that. And sales-wise, we would like to position, it's a very dynamic market, so very difficult to tell you what is the price range that is currently going. But with respect to export and domestic, I think again that will probably be around 30% domestic and around 70% exports. So this is what is the ratio that we are assuming it to be, 70-30 towards exports.
Sure. Thanks. And what additional money you have put in for this 700 ton capacity to reach it till 700 ton per month capacity?
Hardly, I think around 10 to 15 crores will be our capex, but it will be taken up in the next few quarters, not immediately.
Okay, and what is the capacity utilization at present, and where do we expect to reach this?
So right now it's at 60%, 60-70% right now of the capacity utilization.
Okay, and when do we feel this to be operational, this 700 ton per month capacity?
Could be probably Q3 next year.
Okay.
Q3 next year, yeah. Again, see, we will scale it up based on demand. If we are able to, we are playing it out carefully. So based on demand, we want to make sure that, that capacity is reached.
Sure. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Our next question is from the line of Shivakumar Swami, an individual investor. Please go ahead.
Hello.
Yes, sir, go ahead.
Sir, thanks for the opportunity.
Mr. Swami, I'm sorry, but we can't hear you clearly. Can you please switch to a handset mode and talk, and be a bit louder, please?
Okay. Is it audible now?
Yes, thank you.
Sir, regarding that, as per our strategy is concerned, we are having a commodity molecules with a volume-led growth, but other pharmaceutical players are going for greener chemistry like biocatalysis and enzymatic process. So what your stand on that one, sir? You are doing any R&D like thing regarding that for greener chemistry and EST complaints?
Yeah. So again, it depends on, it's a very general question. I think it depends on product to product. Okay. So like if I mean, it's not a compulsion that, all products have to be enzymatic route or, to have a very good costing. Most of the products, obviously engineering also plays a critical role. All products are not, it's not that, you have an enzymatic route. It's not that you have the costing on the product. See, few products we are already working on an enzymatic route internally, where we feel that costing plays a critical role. So yeah, we are doing, to answer your question in short, I think we are working on a couple of products where we are doing enzymatic route, intermediates through enzymatic route, and there are few of them are in R&D, few of them are on the scale up activity as we speak.
Okay, sir. Regarding that in the green chemistry, have you put that 200 crore capex for the ibuprofen? In that plant, any EST initiatives like that, solar power and zero liquid discharge like that?
So the plant is a zero liquid discharge. So it's already in process. The plant itself is a zero liquid discharge, and also the solar because obviously it consumes a huge power. So solar this thing also options also we are evaluating to see if that could be cheaper than the regular power that we take from the grid. So those options are under evaluation. We will plan something sometime this year based on our requirement.
Okay, I'm asking this because some CMO partners are looking for that and that customer suppliers are having that some EST complaints like things. So in future it will for a CMO partner.
Sure.
Okay, that's all my friend. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone who has a question may enter star and 1. The next question is from the line of Parth Vasani from KK Advisors. Please go ahead.
Hello. Hi, sir. Good morning, and thank you for the opportunity. I had a couple of questions. So first was I wanted to know, are we planning to add any new capacity and undertake any kind of brownfield or greenfield expansion?
So at this point, we have no plans of taking on the greenfield expansion or major capacity expansion. So we will take it phase wise. I think mostly our expansion will be towards ibuprofen capacity only. So as I already mentioned in this call, right? So we have a phase wise approach to take it to increase the volumes. But other products, I think we have sufficient capacity. We would like to at least occupy 70% before we take up. But in this financial year, we don't see any need for the capex investment.
Okay. So what was the capacity utilization for 9 months and Q3 FY23 and our capacity utilization targets for the future?
So for ibuprofen, again, right now it's at 60 to 70%, and rest other products right now is at 40% as of now, and our target is to at least hit 60%.
Okay. Got it, sir. Okay, sir. I'll get back in you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Anyone who has a question may enter star and 1. The next question is from the line of Nisha Desai from NM Securities. Please go ahead.
Good morning, sir. Thank you for the opportunity. I have a couple of these questions. First, how is the demand panning out in the commercial launches of VKT Pharma?
Hello? Yeah, can you your voice is not clear.
Yeah.
So can you please? Yeah.
Could you please connect on a handset mode and talk, please?
Is it audible?
Better. Please repeat your question.
How is the demand panning out in the commercial launches of VKT Pharma?
Yeah, so I mean, I can tell you in brief, but VKT is an independent company. So I mean, I don't think this is the right forum to discuss about VKT Pharma because it's another company altogether. But generally speaking, I think the launch batches have already been in the market. So the launches of VKT has happened. But yeah, this is not the right forum to discuss about another company. So if you have any questions with respect to SMS, kindly let us know so that we can answer you.
Okay. My second question is regarding ibuprofen. So how many tons of ibuprofen are we producing each month?
So right now, actually, we are producing around 180 tons, 180 to 200 tons of ibuprofen.
And what kind of revenues we are expecting in the coming years?
Coming year, I think we are projected to do around 25% of the total revenue, which is somewhere around maybe 150 to 200 crores.
Okay. And are we seeing any significant trends in our top therapies?
Significant?
Trends in our top therapies?
So again, significant trends in the sense, see, again, they keep fluctuating, to be honest with you. For example, ARV, 1 year we were doing 40%, this year we have done 1%, but, the company was able to adapt and, replace it with few other products where, we didn't have the anti-diabetic. Now anti-diabetic took the lead. So like that, I think based on market scenario, the company is playing out, and, definitely we are ready for all challenges and any particular product across therapies. And so we mostly don't go on a particular therapy line because we are not a finished formulation company, right? So it's mostly an API group. So we don't typically go on therapeutic division, but because we are not a formulation company where we are very strong in cardiotherapy or respiratory therapy. So we are not we are an API company. So definitely based on the current trend, we think the anti-diabetic could be the driving force in the next year as well because of the recent expiry on that on sitagliptin. But it could change. It could definitely change.
Understood. And my last question is, considering what happened with ARV, are we planning to diversify our product mix?
Yeah, definitely. So that's the reason, right? So we are now, last year we had 40% contribution from ARV worth of around 200 crores. But this year I think the contribution is less than 1%. So this full year I think 9 months is 4%. So obviously I think we have diversified, still maintaining the top line. If you see, I think the numbers of top line are more or less equal to the one that we maintained last year. But except first quarter, which was not very progressive, as was discussed in the past. But yeah, so I think we've already replaced it.
And I understand that anti-diabetic is a huge chunk of revenue. So does the concentration threat to us?
I'm sorry, we didn't get your question.
I understand that anti-diabetic is a huge chunk of our revenue. Does this pose any concentration threat to us?
Not as such, because see, we have a tied up partner who we are doing this product to. I think we are catering to a lot of US markets through this channel partner. So I mean, we don't see a threat as such, but threats are obviously, they're part and parcel of the business, right? So as of now, we don't foresee any threat at this point in time.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone who has a question may enter star and 1. Our next question is a follow-up from the line of Mahesh Vyas from UTI Mutual Fund. Please go ahead.
Sir, just would like to know your raw material dependency. How we are dependent on for raw material, or are we backward integrated for ibuprofen?
So most of the raw materials we manufacture in-house. Ibuprofen, there is some dependency overseas, but slowly, we are trying to reduce that. And this year we are planning to manufacture those intermediates in-house also. So this FY24, I think we will be vertically integrated on most of them. Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any participant who has a question may enter star and 1. The next question is from the line of Rahil Shah, an individual investor. Please go ahead.
Hi, sir. Am I audible?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yes, sir. So just a follow-up on the exports segment. So you said we're doing 80% from exports, and the major is coming from US, Europe, and Japan, right? So what are some other regions that are showing good demand and promise in terms of growth?
So the other regions are typically in terms of see, being an API company, so, we take sales into other companies where there's enough manufacturers in those countries manufacturing those products, right? So definitely these are some of the world big markets. See, we have, apart from these, we have some sales in Indonesia, some sales in Brazil, some sales in MENA region, some in Bangladesh. There are sales, but majority of our sales contribution is for US market. And see, again, we are operating mostly from US FDA approved facilities, right? So the pricing also makes an important factor, because we cannot compete in markets where the pricing is not viable for us, because our overheads are a little on the higher side based on having a US FDA approvals. So again, we take case by case scenario, market to market scenario, but we have access to many markets. We are present in more than 70 markets across the world.
Okay. So other markets keep coming and going, but these are the constants.
Yes.
Right. And can you, sorry I'm asking you to repeat, but can you just tell me again, what was the revenue target for the next financial year? You mentioned.
So, we have not, as of now, we have not given out any financial targets for next year. I think that will be done in the next board meeting that we will be taking up. So definitely, I think next investor call, I think we can have a discussion over this. But typically, it will be 15% to 20% on whatever is our existing revenues. But we have not set out an actual target yet to the board yet. So once we do that, I think we'll be able to disclose that. Yeah.
Oh, no problem. Thank you, sir, and all the best.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone who has a question may enter star and 1. The next question is from the line of Nehal Jain from SK Securities. Please go ahead.
Thank you for the opportunity. So I wanted to know that have the ibuprofen prices stabilized?
Yes. Again, depends. It's a very fluctuating market. Obviously, I think at this point of time, yes, they're quite stable at this point of time. Yes.
Okay. So what kind of price trajectory, are you expecting going forward?
So we feel that the prices have bottomed out at this point of time, and we feel that unless there is a new entrant or someone is having some issues with manufacturing, I think the prices will more or less be the same, unless something is happening in the market, so that we keep our eyes open and we're watchful. But we cannot predict those at this point of time. But unless some of these external factors play out, we foresee a straight line on the demand and the pricing of ibuprofen at this point.
Got it. And so now that our profitability has stabilized, what kind of initiatives are we taking from this point to achieve our pre-COVID margins of 22 to 23%?
So it is definitely, the profitability definitely depends on the product mix very much, because there could be a few quarters where a low margin products would be going good in the number of sales. But I think going forward, the main target of us is to manufacture our own products and be more vertically dependent, vertically integrated, and have a control on the input costs, so that we have the raw material costs in our control, so we sort of have sufficient margins for us to go forward. So that's one stream of the things. And the second one is explore more markets and try to see increased revenues in some of our new products that we've recently launched. We want to do it both ways.
Okay, understood. Thank you, sir. That was very helpful.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone who has a question may enter star and 1. The next question is from the line of Parth Vasani from KK Advisors. Please go ahead.
Hi again. Thank you for the opportunity. Sir, I wanted to know, are we still carrying any high-cost inventories, and were there any inventory losses in this quarter? If you can elaborate a little bit on that.
Oh. Yeah, Mr.
Parth Vasani.
Yeah. The inventory is already stabilized as compared to the last year, FY22. The 9 months inventory has come down by about 15-20% of the inventory, and the inventory only the slow moving inventory of the COVID related products, which already the management is already evaluating to sell out into the market. That may be in the small, about 10% of the cost.
Okay. Okay. So, thank you for that. Lastly, one more question. Sir, if I remember correctly, you mentioned that last quarter you were facing some issues with regards to liquidating this thing, molnupiravir. So, what is the status of that? I mean, has that situated up?
Yes, as of now, is the same status, but we are evaluating. We are evaluating how to move forward.
Okay, sir. Okay, fine. So that was it from my side. Thank you.
Thank you. Any participant who wishes to ask a question may enter star and 1. We take the next question from the line of Deepthi Kothari from Kothari Securities. Please go ahead.
Sir, just a follow-up question. So if I remember correctly, last quarter our R&D spends were around 2%, right?
Yeah, right.
So sir, then what will be the steady state number be?
It will be around 3%, 3 to 4% most likely. It will not be more than that.
Okay, sir. And so are we in the process of getting any new regulatory approvals for ibuprofen?
So product as such will not get an approval because we've already filed in the US, we've already filed in Europe, so we filed in multiple countries. But product as such will not get an approval. Our files, probably our customers will who've triggered, like we are entering different markets. So I think as and when they file with their own regulatory agency, I think it will get triggered. But on-site inspections, if that's what you're referring to, I think it's mostly US and Europe.
Okay, sir. And so what is the degree to which we are backward integrated now?
So we would say around 50% is backward integrated, but we will be achieving around 80 to 85% in this coming year. That's the target.
Okay. So thank you so much. That answers my questions.
Thank you.
Thank you. As there are no further questions from the participants, I now hand the floor back to Mr. Vamsi Krishna Potluri for closing comments. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much for all the participants for joining the call. You can now close the call. Thank you.
Thank you. On behalf of SMS Pharmaceuticals Limited, that concludes this conference. Thank you for joining us, and you may now disconnect your lines.